Hello and welcome to Cosmic Crit, where we play Starfinder. Right now we are playing Attack of the Swarm, and we are currently in the thick of Fate of the Fifth, the first book of the adventure path. And it just so happens to be written by one Patrick Brennan, who is also our GM. So I'd say this is probably a pretty good actual play to be listening to of Attack of the Swarm right now. But before we jump right into the episode, I did want to mention that if you haven't already, you should check out our Patreon, patreon.com/cosmiccrit. We have several tiers that you can choose from if you want to throw us a few dollars every month. We really, really appreciate it. And you can get some rewards too. Some of the stuff that Patreon subscribers have gotten lately are, of course, our natural 20 shoutouts. So if we roll a natural 20 in the episode, we'll shout out one of our Patreon members. Also, for season 3, we released the character artwork to them a little bit early, so they got a sort of sneak peek at what our characters were going to look like. And they also get access to our Drift Rider specials before we put them on our regular feed. So a couple of weeks ago, we released the first 2 Drift Rider specials. These are extra episodes. We're calling them Season 1.5. They follow our Season 1 characters after their Dead Sons campaign. It's a homebrewed adventure. If you enjoyed those that we released a couple of weeks ago, you can get episodes 3 and 4 right now on Patreon. And if you don't have the funds, totally understand. We still appreciate you listening and telling your friends about us and writing reviews and all that good stuff. And also, I really hope that you'll check out our Discord. It's a really great place to connect directly with the cast and with other Crittermanders, talk Starfinder, talk Cosmic Crit, talk all kinds of nerdy stuff, play RPGs. It's a lot of fun over there. It's one of my favorite places on the internet, and I really hope that you'll check it out. All right, I'm not going to delay any longer. Here we are with episode 120, Fatigue of Legends.
Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
Charge up your Mega Busters and get ready to pause and unpause the game real quick. It's time for this week's episode of Mega Crit. I am this podcast's Stage's GM, Dr. Patrick B. Wiley, and I'm throwing all manner of robots and themed bosses at you all this week. So everyone out there, get ready and get equipped with my 5 players and your friends. To my right, she's ready to roll into a cutting trick attack. It's Rebecca rolling with Zinnia.
Hello.
Across from her, this Elec man is going to shock you with his E-type attacks. It's Drew delivering Echo 7.
20 XT6.
And to my right, they call him Guts Man because that's what he's gonna spill. It's Tyler dredging up Devasho. Across from him, he will heal you up with a big life energy before a boss. It's Jabert playing as Trest.
Call me Captain Bug.
And finally, across the digital table, like all video games, the smallest enemies are sometimes the hardest to avoid. Why, it's Miles mixing it up with Sprouts.
Good evening.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Pretty wonderful, Patrick.
I'm a massive Mega Man fan.
Yeah, I knew that about you.
I really wanted to bust out the Mega Man 8 audio clips for Dr. Light.
Yeah, I could only remember about Mega Man that like all the bosses had names that were like just like title plus noun, and so I was like, I was thinking, Doctor.
Oh, so you mean like 1940 superheroes?
Yeah, exactly, precisely.
Hey, here's Fan Man.
DDS Heartman.
Mr. Wall, Captain Poster.
They get creative sometimes, and then sometimes it's like they're a Splash Woman.
Right.
Yeah, I think Captain Poster is very creative.
Mr. Wall.
Speaking about cinematic oldie experiences, one of the things that got me excited about writing this specific AP volume
was Cats.
Is the movie Cats.
Why?
It was the movie Cats, yes.
Why?
No, it's the war element of the story. So a lot of my inspiration came from the real world, but also fictional displays of that. So a lot of classic films inspiring some of this action you guys are seeing right now. I was wondering if you all had a favorite war film or film set during like conflict of some sort.
I'm going to say, and I'm going to say this right now because I know this is just so on the nose that we don't need to really talk about it. One of my favorites is Starship Troopers.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, from just a film standpoint. I think it's just a lot of fun to watch. But B, I think it's a great sort of satire, and it sort of came to me at a moment, sort of in our country's in our country's sort of politic era that it resonated with me, let's say. And
there might be a little bit of Starship Troopers in this AP.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know, Patrick. I don't know if the author of this AP was really thinking about Starship Troopers.
I would not like to know more.
The working title for Attack of the Swarm was Swarm Ship Troopers. So I think you got it right there.
Boy.
Yeah, no. How can a movie be so on the nose, entertaining for the masses, and like high political satire?
Pretty subversive considering the time,
And I think
Doogie Howser in it,
and also Doogie Howser
in it.
Yeah.
And I think part of the film's initial it did okay, but it wasn't a massive thing. So I think a lot of that went over some people's heads.
Yeah. I think it bloomed into its success for sure.
It did.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of like the early, I think, successes of DVD back in the days. I remember Matrix was a big one, and then that came out and did very well. In home ownership.
In terms of actual human Earth stuff, I'm not a big war movie person. It's just never been my particular taste. But I will definitely say this is not a film, but I think it equally qualifies. HBO's Band of Brothers is, I think, both heart-wrenching, and it also kind of gives you warts and all. Like, you see, it doesn't glorify it, but it also, it does a little bit with some of the sentiment towards the end of each episode, but it shows you kind of the horrors of war too, and just how abysmal it can be.
I'm going to add on to that just because Spielberg was related to both of these projects. The D-Day invasion at the beginning of Saving Private Ryan is one of the most affected I've ever been watching a movie in a theater. And he captured just this raw, just terror of what was going on in those moments, and was really, really moving. I honestly, I can't remember the rest of the movie because that is what I have in my head every time I think about that movie.
There's so many good parts to that movie. The same subject matter. One of my favorite war films is The Longest Day, which I don't feel like is talked about that much anymore because Saving Private Ryan did come out, but it's about the invasion of Fortress Europe from multiple kind of points of view. And you got a super cast back then of Henry Fonda, Sean Connery, John Wayne taking on the D-Day invasion.
Yeah, that's kind of a winner. Yeah.
I have to say, I feel like I have some homework to do because I have seen none of the movies that y'all have mentioned so far.
Oh my goodness, Rebecca! Let's pause and just go ahead and watch Starship.
Great Escape. We'll add Great Escape to the list.
Yeah, there's some that aren't like really war, like they aren't about the war itself, but
that's what I liked about Jarhead.
Well, and I was going to say, I really like Casablanca. And part of the reason that I like Casablanca is because it was made at the time that it takes place. So like we watch it and we think, oh, that was a long time ago, World War II or whatever. It was happening at the time that the movie came out. And when you put it in that context, like, I think it's a really effective movie to watch.
That's how I feel about Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was made when the Nazis were actually trying to get the Ark of the Covenant, and you see the real event. You see the real event of the Nazis getting melted by God's holy light.
And thankfully, Steven Spielberg was there to capture it on the film documentary.
That is my favorite documentary series. Indiana Jones.
Indeed, yeah.
Tyler, you got one?
Mine's really quick. It's Seven Samurai.
Oh yeah,
that's a great film.
It's a great movie.
One of my favorites for sure, and one of the reasons why Star Wars has some pretty awesome Akira Kurosawa base material to pick from is because that movie is so popular. Like almost all of his movies came over with that one. And
I have seen Ron. That is also a war movie.
Ron might have came first because it was actually colorized, I think, when it was brought over, if memory serves. It's
so it was definitely in color. I watched it in color.
Yeah, I think it was like a joint U.S. and Japanese production on that. So enough of those examples of other cinematic action. We got our own cinematic action here on the podcast. Got space stations falling from orbit and vast unfeeling enemy on your heels as you guys are trying to pick up the pieces in retreat. But before we get back to it, Sprouts Marlowe, why don't you tell us, give us a page from your journal. Tell us what happened last time on Cosmic Crits.
Yeah. It's a bog-eat everything and everyone world in the trenches. We patched up Big D and then received orders to hightail and claw it to Bernoa to reinforce the retreat. Swarm were descending on the city in numbers not seen since the last Strawberry Machine Cake concert. But I don't think the Swarm were interested in handing out backstage passes, and we ain't interested in eating acid. We moved up to hold the line and brought down 4 dredges before we got the full retreat signal. Everything turned into another BBBS situation. It's a long run to Fort Gallant. It's going to take every bit of strength we have to get there. More so than ever since we lost Major Jal Demerick in the retreat. Never could get a pin on that vest, but he went down his way, killing dozens of the Swarm.
Indeed, and this episode, like last, does not start on Suskillon, but a similar world in a similar state almost 25 years ago on the Pact world of Akaton, the red planet in the grips of an invasion like the rest of the Pact. But the Swarm seemed to want Akaton badly, something on it they were after. The fighting here recorded the greatest casualties on both sides as the Viscarium sent an entire war fleet to the planet and performed a massive counterattack. And it's here at the Battle of the Black Gulch, in the carnage that followed the 10 hours of fighting, that we see Jaldamarik. Where his right eye was is now just a bandage of blood-soaked rags. His armor is scarred beyond recognition, where large mantothrops had tried to cut him down. And he's covered in component ichor and coughs up a mix of blood that had settled in his lungs, a mix of his own and his enemies, as he atomized many of them and breathed in their death. In a pool of red and black blood, he kneels down and begins a ritual prayer to Demoratosh, painting his scales with his blood and his enemies. And while he anoints himself, besides him is a Sheeran, one of the new allies with him in the recently formed pact. The bug standing with his arms outstretched, likewise beginning to pray as well. Jaldamarik looks up and smiles, saying, "They say your god Hylax is one of peace. She likes to talk first and avoid battle. How is it you can thank her for this victory over the corpses of our enemies?" And as this host Sheeran's antennae begin twitching, pondering the question, they take some time before replying and saying, "Through Hylax, peace between the Viscarium and the Pact was possible when once thought impossible. It took one common enemy to end the silent war that raged for centuries. Peace begets peace, Jaldamarik. And when we give ourselves over to something seemingly impossible, then miracles can happen. Eventually, one day, the universe will know Hylax's truth, the meaning of all the suffering, why it is that you and I fight and die, and others hope and pray." Jaldamarik finishes his prayer, motions, and stands up and says, "And why is that, Private Vahansk?" "It is that simple truth that the universe shall eventually know what it means to plant trees in whose shade you will never sit." The cold wind streaks across the white-blanketed plains of the Alupin Highlands, ice streaks appearing on Tress' armor as your character is marching here, Jabert, feeling once again the connection to these words spoken on a planet alien to you a quarter of a century ago. How is Tress doing after seeing Jaldamarik cut down, potentially dead now?
I think from what Tress knew of Jaldamarik, it was certainly a shock to see him fall. Seemed like Jaldamarik sort of had what it took to, lead this whole crew through the war. But I mean,
for the moment, you guys are alive right now, at least.
Right, he led us through this far, so we've got that to thank him for. But it's what can you say? He gave his life to preserve life, but he gave us life in death. So, so it's a complicated person, but we'll honor him in the best way that we can.
By hopefully living and fighting where he cannot.
Hopefully, yes, but I don't want to make any promises.
Last week you guys started on a long journey to Fort Gallant, just a couple miles down the road.
Our own longest day.
Yeah, this might be, actually. You've been up now for like 15 hours since you rested at Camp Cavalier. A bit of housekeeping before we get back into the march is that Miles, on that first forced march check, that fortitude check, you rolled an 11 on a DC 10, but we forgot to factor in that your character for the next 2 hours is still shaken. So that first save is actually a fail. And Sprout's going to be taking 1d6 damage from that march. I'm gonna roll that now for you. Bingo. Alrighty, just 5 points of non-lethal damage to Sprouts. Okay. I believe we just took a 10-minute rest for Devasho at the end of the last episode. If you want to burn an RP now as well,
sure.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So we said we would talk about it more in depth this session, as you guys had, about 24 miles from the area on Interstate Highway 12 there outside of Brinoa. About 20 or so miles still to go, where you last left them off, and all of that time is going to be under the forced march rules. And it's a set of rules in Starfinder. I don't know how often it comes up, because how often do you have to nonstop have your characters march without any reprieve, but the rules detailing how much your character can walk and run and hustle in a given day fall under kind of overland movement. And in a normal day of walking, you can walk for 8 hours, no penalty, just like in real life. You start to get a little tired at the end, but everything beyond that is going to fall under the forced march banner. And like we talked about, that means like every hour you're going to have to make some fortitude saves to not take non-lethal damage as you begin to slow and get tired and muscles begin taking some damage. I think the slowest member of Midnight Squad right now is Trest with a 25-foot movement. Is that correct?
That's me.
Just because of heavy armor.
Correct. Yeah. I'm wearing that reinforced EVA suit right now, and it's sort of binding up a little bit.
So if you're just walking at the base speed of your party right now is 25, everyone. For those 20 miles, we're talking like 2 to 3 miles per hour in there. At least 8 hours of forced march travel in that time. So we're talking 8 more fortitude saves, potentially 8d6 damage. If we get to that last DC, I think it's going to be up. I think it's going to be like DC 26, somewhere in there.
You mean auto fail? Because none of us can reach
Which
that?
means auto pass on the natural 20, Tyler. You always got to look at the bright side of things.
No.
But yeah, at some point you're going to take some damage from this. And I think those of you with Profession Soldier are probably going to know that it's going to get very rough. Not only that, it's freezing outside. You're not walking on like a straight and narrow path. You're trying to find your way through the recently snowed upon kind of foothills here. So it could take longer. It could take, if you slow down, up to 10 hours. And that's when we get into territory questions of like, your environmental protection's going down. If you've been using them for already about 15 hours right now. Fighting off the cold, and things like sleep deprivation. What a fun idea. All these rules are in the Starfinder rule book, kind of base rules just for like, well, what happens if you're dying of thirst? That's another example in there. So let's talk about it. Tell me, are there any other skills you think your characters have that might potentially play into this section of the story, this forced march? If you have like a relevant skill that you think could be used to modify or might come up during this, feel free to pitch me what you think.
What about with Profession Soldier? Would we potentially know how to conserve our energy from our training?
I could foresee if you guys want to make a profession soldier check per hour on a success, being able to maybe impart some bonuses to yourself or your teammates, if that's what you want to use it for. I feel like if you went through boot in the SDF and you learned a great deal from it, they probably took you on multiple 8-hour plus marches and things like that.
I would sort of expect that with a successful survival check, you could find your way a little bit more quickly through an area.
Well, I'll tell you that at the very least, you guys will need to make a simple survival check to stay on a path. And if no one is able to make that, then you'll slow down. If you roll a great deal in excess of that, you might be able to find an easier path. I think I would allow that. But base DC, a 10 survival check. If no one makes it on an hour, then you find like the most difficult path. It might slow you down a bit. If you want to roll perception instead, if you guys don't have any ranks in survival, I'll allow it, but that's going to be a harder difficulty class to hit.
Could athletics factor into this?
How so?
Well, I mean, walking a great distance or moving a great distance seems like if you had points in athletics, you might be used to marathon running or some other kind of exercise that would make you a little more survivable in something like this.
Echo 7, go to the mall on the weekends, do some power walking, that kind of thing. I'll allow it to give a bonus to that fortitude save, potentially.
I mean, someone could carry me.
That's not really a skill, but it is
I'm tiny.
A physical possibility is we did determine from our last AP that small people are like about 8 bulk, and about half of that for tiny people, aka 4 bulk. So I think most anyone here can potentially carry you. I don't think anyone's really super gear laden except for perhaps Trest.
Patrick, I know we keep saying fortitude save, but the rules for forced march say constitution check. What's the rule?
Oh yeah, we're going to be making fortitude saves, which is constitution based.
Just wanted to make sure.
So what about, is there any chance that this path is not completely flat? Like, could there be some hills that we have to go down? And if so, could we use acrobatics to try to gain some speed, slide on our butts and sled down the mountain?
Very, very loose association potentially for that. But that would be, you're only moving as fast as the base of your party. That would fall into finding like an easy path with perhaps survival. No sledding despite the snow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm bummed that I didn't pick up some skis. I think that's easier.
So, some cross country snowshoes.
Right.
Or
Exactly.
I actually made an item in the back material I sent you guys of formation boots, which are specifically for forced march. Will basically give you a small bonus for these long marches.
But we didn't pick those up, so...
Yeah, we never trust you when you say stuff like that because you're always like, oh yeah, do this, it'll help you out.
Made those fools waste money on boots. Papa GM needs some more shoe money. Right. We haven't talked about some additional overland movement rules, which include hustle or running. Hustle is kind of like a light jog. It does double your movement speed. So right now, if you're at 25 foot, it'll boost you up to like 50. So that's about half as far as you would get running. Running you can't really do for hours at a time, but you can hustle for that amount of time. Now, the thing with that is past the first hour, you're getting a guaranteed point of non-lethal damage, and that doubles for every hour you spend doing that until you rest. So by hour like 5 of hustling, you're taking 8 damage on top of if you potentially fail that forced march fortitude check. That's an additional d6 that would be on top of that. So that can get dangerous if you do it for long enough. And what else? What else we got? I should mention, I said this last week, if you guys do get any non-lethal damage from forced march, from the cold as well, from hypothermia, that gives you the fatigued condition, which doesn't affect your movement, but does give a whole bunch of negatives to various abilities. But if you do any other action that causes you to become fatigued again, you then move from fatigued onto the exhausted stage. If you heal up the RP, the SP from fatigued, it will get rid of the condition. But if you become exhausted, you're just exhausted until you sleep, until you rest again. And that is a bit of a larger negative penalty. It's a -3 to like attacks and saves and things like that. And it drops your movement speed down to half. So if someone with 30-foot movement becomes exhausted, you're now at 15.
Yeah, but we're at 25. So
yeah. Now the good thing about exhaustion is that once you're exhausted, it doesn't really get worse than that. You can't go down to like 1/4 speed or anything.
There's no super exhausted. There's no like baby exhausted.
You know what, Tyler? You're right. Let's make up some more rules.
Oh, I like it. I like it. I'm getting my pen and paper right now.
No. That's it's about as bad as it can get.
All right, let's chuck some dice.
Yeah, well, like I said, when we started this year, this campaign, I warned you guys that maybe your characters are going to be equipped for this war, whereas you as players might not be. What's the best way to handle this? How do you tackle this section of the AP? And I mean, depending on the dice rolls and your decisions, this could be life or death here. Eventually, I will say everyone's going to get some drain eventually, some non-lethal damage from this, because like I said, you're gonna have to roll a 20 at some point. But
yeah, I think if we start hustling by the time the DC reaches 20, it's probably a good idea, because I think that a non-zero number of us have a fortitude save that is +1. So
yeah, I mean, even hitting a DC 12 for a few of us is not easy.
Well, yeah, right now, this next one's going to be DC 12, but both Trest and Sprouts have the shaking condition, so that's a little harder for them even. Yeah.
Who stacked this stuff?
Yeah, so I've got a -1. I've got a -1 total on my check.
Oh, man.
So yeah, how you guys manage this, how willing you are to push your characters. Are you going to be risky? Are you going to try to be guarded? That's going to determine whether you're, as a party, going to be able to weather this storm. And a large part of this section is indeed going to be teamwork, resource management, maybe some active leadership. What do you want to do for this first hour? And like I said, if you have any questions, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them, because other listeners might play this or other Starfinder Force Marches in the future and be interested in your good or bad example.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm curious what you mean by there's leadership opportunities here, because it seems like there's just rolling fortitude opportunities here. Like, what do you mean?
Well, I was going to ask, so if Xenia is flying, which I'm planning to fly anyway, I'll fly up like a little ways above. Is there any way that she can keep an eye out for dangerous passes, or, keep an eye on the road for her teammates?
Yeah, I mean, it is the full bright of day here. Still a little, maybe like 9 or 10 in the morning of a 26-hour day. So you have a good vision, maybe past some flustering snowstorms every little bit. But doing something like that, you might want to roll a survival check, and you might be able to get a little bit of a bonus if you got some ranks in that. Is that what you want to do here for this first hour, Rebecca?
Yeah, but I don't have ranks in survival.
Okay, so
I have perception.
So just out of curiosity, I mean, did you have any thoughts on that? I mean, about like what? I guess I just don't quite understand what you mean by leadership in this moment.
Well, right now, no one has told me a specific plan except let's roll fortitude. So
okay, right.
So
you're looking for like sort of like a strategy at this point.
Oh yeah, you guys had a whole week.
I mean, I think
usually talk to each other outside of character.
I mean, I think Jabert already said it. It's March until we hit like DC 20 probably, and then we'll hustle.
Yeah, I think it's slow and steady wins the race until we're losing the race, and then we hustle.
Right.
There's no reason to make a plan. There's no reason to make a plan because the plan is going to change depending on how much stamina points people have and how much RP people have and how if you pass or fail.
Should we hustle the first hour just to get ahead of the swarm that is likely behind us?
I mean, it's possible that it's not too bad to go ahead and hustle for a few and like. So what's the minimum number of resolve points that somebody has right now?
I have one.
You have one more resolve point. I mean, like, so it might not be a bad idea to
because we hustle, we get ahead of the swarm, we then can potentially take a little extra time if we need it to heal in a 10-minute, but granted that's going to burn the resolve anyway, so never mind.
Right, exactly, right, yeah. So like I mean, I think what we do is we move normal on this next one. We basically move normal until Devasho takes some more damage. Then once he takes some more damage, we allow him to heal the stamina, and then we move forward until he takes some more damage, and then at that point we start just running, right? Yeah. Because right now this is all gated off of how much resolve Devasho has. So
and actually what we might want to do is we might want to push it until there's a point where we should all stop and heal and then just hustle, like, you know what I'm saying? Just like the sprint to the finish. Because if we all heal our stamina up at the same time, and then we just hustle as long as we can and hope we get there. Shrug.
My only concern with that would be letting people get into the exhausted state before we gotta like book it. That would be my only concern.
I mean, I agree. I think we're gonna get in the exhausted state.
We'll get there. I think we'll become exhausted eventually, but the longer we can go without being exhausted, I think is best.
Yeah, and hustling first is going to get us to exhausted faster. So
yeah.
Okay. I say we just keep pace. Again, slow and steady wins the race until we're losing the race, and then we speed up.
Right.
That's what I say.
Losing the race, then we all grab rabbits and then make little makeshift sleds, and then we ride those rabbits to the end of the race.
I guess I don't know why I feel super pessimistic that like literally I'm just going to fail the first two and be exhausted.
You know what?
You did fail the first one.
I mean, that's probably
it's probably going to happen.
Tyler, I believe in you.
I think I have the highest fort save. Mine's +3.
Well, like I said, before we do our fortitude saves, why don't you guys go ahead and do what other action you'd like to do for this hour? If that's survival, to try and find a path. If you want to try and do some calisthenics with Devasho and maybe try and give him a bonus.
I'm going to do some orienteering and find the path.
Like I said, we are going to need at least one success there to get a good route through the brush.
Oh, actually, before we get going, would it be worth... are you down hit points, Tyler?
No. Oh, yeah. I'm totally hit points.
Do you want to do a medicine check to try to get that back?
You've already done one on me, so you can't.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Yeah. Nope.
Never mind.
I'd have to use a serum, and I'm only down a little, so I'd rather wait until that gets hit again, and then maybe try to take care of it with my serum.
Right. Okay, so while Xenia is flying above the Earth, or the Suskillon, whatever it's called,
planet? That's the one. Yes.
The planet. Can I use perception maybe to see what might be ahead of us that, over the...
If you prefer to do that instead of survival, like I said, I'll allow it. It'll be a more difficult DC. Trest has rolled survival, and because of Shaken, that's a 9, which means that's a fail.
And a 9 for me on perception. So look at that.
Not going to do it. Does anybody else want to try? Like I said, anyone can try for the survival check.
Devasho will just give it a shot. Magic 9 ball. Gosh darn it.
Miles, what'd you get?
I rolled a 12.
All right, 10. With Shaken, that will be a 10, so that will be enough for this hour. It looks like everyone's used the rules here except for Echo 7. Drew, do you want to try and impart a bonus?
Yes, I'd like to use athletics to try to give Devasho a bonus.
Okay, I'm just going to set this
if you who needs the biggest bonus? I guess that's the thing. For fort saves, I have +4. So I feel like
what I'm saying is
ride.
I mean if that's the case, then Sprouse, you're kind of immune to a lot of this action. Who you climbing up on, or is there?
Do I have a volunteer?
Designate Marlowe. You may hop on my shoulders. Careful not to bend antennae.
So Sprouse kind of just like hops up onto his shoulder and is kind of like holding on one of his little extensions on his back and just kind of keeping an eye out, kind of keep him vigilant.
All I can imagine is a plant baby Yoda.
You mean a Groot? A baby Groot?
A baby Groot. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. A plant Mogwai. But yeah, on top of a silver shiny person walking through the wastes here. What is Sprouts comfortable with that after taking some non-lethal damage from that first hour of marching?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's not the kind to kick a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah, no, I mean, if some of you could carry others of you, I would recommend it. But I think for medium creatures, we're talking like 12 bulk, which might be slowing you down more than actually helping you out. So, like I said, most everyone else has rolled something for this hour. Echo, you've got perhaps some tips or tricks for someone if you want to roll athletics. Who do you want to give that?
Yeah, let's do it for Trest.
And let's just set the DC for the forced march 12 right now.
This is how it's gonna be, man.
3 on the dice.
Come on.
Now, can I help?
I forgot to roll up my dice. I'll be right back in a second.
You already tried survival, so that
I was about to say, let's just keep it to 1 roll per hour just to figure it out.
Sure.
And let's move on. Let's get those fortitude checks going for this hour. And like I said, this is just your normal movement speed for this hour. So we're like 2-3 miles per hour. Can knock off a little chunk here. But it is DC 12. And if you guys are ready, let's roll them up and just call them out as you pass or fail.
Oh, that's a natural 20 from Zinnia. 22.
That's all it takes.
Oh, I thought that was me for a second. 17 for Echo 7.
Nice.
Shock it on! Rolled an 8! Woohoo!
Yeah.
No.
8 and a 9. Yeah, 9. 9 for me.
For Devastro and Trest. All right, so a couple of fails. Go ahead and
Gilbert, I noticed that you've got a +2 bonus to saves related to cold dangers. Does that have any factoring into this forced march?
It would be if I wasn't sickened already, possibly.
Shaken condition. But let's go ahead and I'm going to roll these separately for you guys, unless you want me to roll the damage together.
It doesn't matter. Just do whatever you want.
Rolling them separate. So first one going to Devasho, second to Trest.
Can you not be max, please?
4 for Devasho and just a little 2 to Trest.
I went half my SP.
And you guys are both fatigued, as per the condition.
Nice.
So this one, no negative to con checks, fortitude checks of any kind, but it is a -1 penalty to basically everything else. Attack.
Yeah, I think like we said, we're going to go ahead and take this 10-minute rest here and go ahead and heal that back up. And so, and then keep moving.
Okay, sounds good. So you both burn
like immediately? We're not waiting until we're out of SP.
Correct. Yes, because we're trying to avoid being exhausted right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
if he and I were to fail again, we would be exhausted.
We both become exhausted. But
Okay.
right now we can prevent ourselves from being exhausted. So
Oh yeah.
So that means I have no resolve, which is a first, I think, on the show.
oh boy.
Oh, baby.
Patrick, I'm literally like lofting myself in front of you to be killed at this point.
Thank
Alrighty,
you.
I'm gonna look for a clean path here.
Okay, so we're into hour 3 here of this march, and nobody's fatigued right now. You've healed up that damage, taken a quick breather. But yeah, you can already tell that. I mean, not even a full quarter of the way through, and you guys are feeling it. You want to survival first, Jabert?
Yeah, let me try that.
Okay.
All right, there we go. That's a 16. Minus 2, so 14.
Yep, that will do it this hour, and makes it, basically just so you have a bit of an easier time. You're able to pick your way through some of the little valleys between these massive hills, so you're not walking over every single one of them, and you're not going too far off course.
Oh, similarly, question. Could I use an acrobatics check to, as I'm flying through the air, anticipate some wind gusts and evade the air resistance? Wind resistance.
Now that you put it that way, I feel like you can do that to give a bonus to yourself on this fortitude save. Maybe you're doing like birds do, where they just kind of like ride currents to conserve energy. I'll allow it, but once again, well, let's do that now. Go ahead and make that acrobatics check.
27.
Jeez, what? My goodness. Lord. Yeah, go ahead and give yourself a nice little circumstance bonus.
Can you carry Devasha?
So plus 2 to your next fortitude.
I only weigh over 1,000 pounds.
Boy, howdy. Yeah. Okay. Who else has got an action?
You've already going to try athletics.
Okay. For yourself.
Oh my gosh.
Another 3 on the dice.
I just want to apologize to everybody out there. I knew a lot of fans told me and sent me messages, really loving messages, that they were excited to have me play Atrox, and it's not going to happen.
No.
Reset your cash time.
Would it help to burrow underground occasionally? No?
It's still a movement speed. It's all the same rules.
So that's just for the athletics check. So no bonus from yourself. You've still got Trest and our good friend Sprouts Marlowe. Oh wait, no. Sprouts Marlowe and Echo 7 still haven't made a roll.
Let me do an athletics to try to give Trest a bonus.
So okay.
Basically, let me throw an arm over your shoulder or something.
Yeah. Just like carry some of his weight, maybe. Like you take the sword for a little bit and his pack, things like that. Oof.
Come on.
4 on the dice.
Say, hey, can you carry this plant for me for a second?
I have to leak some lubricant.
Designate Trest. Feel the burn. Work it. Move.
Okay. All right. Well, Sprouts, any skill you think might be relevant here now that you're getting a free roll?
I could roll at, let's see. Would survival help?
We've already had a successful survival roll, so if you can roll a much higher roll, a much better roll than what we've got here, which was 14, potentially you might be able to find an even better path. But I will say it's not required at this point for you guys to. You're not going to lose any time.
Okay. So I won't worry so much about it then.
It's up to you.
I mean, I guess if I have nothing else to do, why not?
Well, it's
a 19.
Completely up to you. Okay, 17. So yeah, 17 with the check. So not unfortunately scores.
No, I think I'm done with the minus 2, aren't I?
This is gonna be the last hour. Oh. So still there, and we'll get rid of that shaken condition as you guys are now finally far away enough from the battlefield to catch your breath. Alrighty here. So it looks like the only.
Is shaken going to apply to this fort save right here?
Yes.
Oh boy.
No other bonuses except for Zinnia getting a bonus, riding the waves of air currents.
Zinnia's not great at teamwork. She's really good at helping herself though.
Yeah. What's Zinnia's perception look like? What's Zinnia's perception like? Can she see my hand right now? Can she see my fingers? How many fingers am I holding up, Zinnia?
Oh, she can't see it.
Oh, what a shame! You can't see it. It's so cute.
Okay, fortitude save time.
All right, here we go.
Roll them and call them out.
What? So the DC's 14 now, right?
DC 14.
Oh no.
That's an 18 for Zinnia.
Oh, a pass for Zinnia, doing fine up in the clouds.
It's a 7 for Echo 7.
Oh, Tyler, come on.
I rolled a 4. I've rolled a 5 and a 3 and a 4 now. I'm just loving this.
A 3, a 4. Where am I missing a roll? Jabert, you've rolled a 12. But yeah, with the negative, that is going to, well, that's a fail. It's DC 14 right now.
No, I've rolled a 13.
Yes, sorry. 13, so a couple of fails, and I will go down the line here and roll some non-lethal damage for most everyone except Zinnia and Sprouts. So first up, Trest, 4 points of damage. Echo 7 getting off easy with 1 point, and 5 for Devasho. Oh boy. Not max at all.
Are you in HP damage yet, Tyler?
No, I remember I spent my last resolve point to get all my SP back. It's almost all my SP is gone again. But
I'm just wondering if hitting you with instead of taking a 10-minute rest, if hitting you with when you get into HP damage, does hitting you with a healing serum?
I have a serum that I'll shoot myself up with, but that's not going to stop.
Does that not stop the fatigued into exhausted?
No. I'd have to get all my I'd have to heal the damage that it just did, meaning I'd have to get my SP back up to full. We can't heal SP anymore.
Yep. So now you're staring down the barrel of becoming exhausted. So moving into hour 4, is this going to change your guys' tactics? What do you want to do here?
Yeah, so, okay, Zinnia, I don't know how this works.
We should... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so seeing Devasho struggling down there, she is
Choose
great.
Your words carefully.
Hear me out. All right. So, you may not know, in cycling races, the guy that races in front of everybody else blocks the air speed from they take the wind resistance for the rest of the people behind them.
Yeah, you're talking about
I'm wondering what?
You're talking about a flying V situation here.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna Mighty Ducks this thing. Yeah, you're a true bird lady. No, none of us are flying, Rebecca.
No,
come on.
I know.
Get with the program.
She's going to fly right above the ground, right in front of Devasho, and try to guard him from the wind resistance so that he can have an easier time of marching.
I thought you were gonna fly behind him to get you an easier situation for
I appreciate the thought, but almost 12 feet tall, and you are not.
Goodness, so good.
That's true. Well, I do have a big one.
I'll allow it. I like it. Zinnia is the literal wind beneath Devasho's arms. If you make an acrobatics check, you can give a little bonus to him.
Well,
right.
so can we?
That's a 22.
Jeez Louise. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bonus.
So what I was gonna ask was, can we take a 10-minute rest right now? So this would be my second to last resolve, but we can keep other people from getting exhausted.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Too. Okay,
because
I would recommend that.
Even if I get halved, that's 15. That's 15 feet, which is better than Tress 10 feet.
Right, yeah, and you might not get exhausted next time, right? I mean, so if we can keep everybody out of the exhausted state, if we can keep as many people out of the exhausted state as we can, we'll be in better shape.
There's no way I'm making DC 16.
Can I ask a question?
What's that?
Yeah.
So I have a decent intimidate score.
Mm-hmm.
What? And we have all gone through this basic training military style. Could I roll intimidate to do a drill sergeant speech to motivate everybody to get up and keep moving?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely, but I want to hear what that sounds like from a 7 for sure.
Oh boy.
All right.
Maybe like that mail call show.
Let me see if I make this roll before I do this.
Oh yeah. 12 on the dice, 17 intimidate. Let's hear it, Drew.
All right, you maggots, up and at 'em. Let's get to it. We've got Swarm behind us. We got somebody to take care of. We got to get to Brinoa. So let's move.
Wait, you're escaping from Brinoa, so you definitely don't want to turn around.
Good point, Sarge. And I turn around and I run the other way.
Ignore my words and listen to my meaning. Get going, you maggots.
Do you want to impart this bonus to a Devasho as well, or is he foregone conclusion?
Oh, I'm yelling at everybody. It seems like I would arouse the entire party with a bonus.
maybe if you rolled better than a 17, but no, let's just pick one person.
Devasha.
Oh yeah. You've got the wind beneath your wings. You've got Echo 7 shouting in your ear.
I can't wait to disappoint both.
Yeah,
Rebecca
don't screw this up,
Drew.
Tyler.
Yeah, I've got double bonuses, and I'm still gonna fail. I'm so sorry.
No one's rolled a survival check yet for this hour. Does anybody want to try for that?
Yes, please. Yeah, you want to roll as well?
Sure.
Well, I would say just until someone succeeds at it. Okay.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, Trest 3 on the dice. That's so Miles, what you got?
16.
All right, there we go. Pass. And Devasho, you got a skill check?
No, because I know if I roll a skill check here, it's going to be like an 18, and then I'm going to roll low on the actual fort check. So I'm going to pocket that 18 by not doing anything.
Tyler, if you roll an 18, it won't be worse.
How the dice work? Are you sure you don't want to give yourself a potential bonus?
Give yourself a bonus.
I'm gonna kill you. I just want everyone to know what I wanted to do.
I'm gonna see this natural 20.
I'm gonna roll athletics.
I support whatever you want to do.
Oh, well, I rolled a 6. So,
all right,
you know what?
No bonus, but hey, that 6 is out of the way.
I have yet to roll above double digits this entire time. I'm due one.
So you are fatigued, correct right now?
Yeah, so that was a minus.
No minus to these saves. I'm just for a little reminder here. So for this next hour 4, do you guys want to remain at the normal pace, or do you want to start hustling? Because this first hour, you at the very least don't take any non-lethal damage from a hustle.
I feel like we need to see if Devasho passes this before we decide whether we hustle or not.
I would tend to agree. Let's if he fails this one, then we should start hustling.
Okay. Then let's.
Devasho, does that sound good to you?
Mine's the big one, so I'll roll first. This will decide.
Tyler, roll last. let's amp up the tension.
I'll roll last. We'll amp up tension.
Everyone else roll those fortitude saves. All right.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
This makes me feel better.
We've got 3 fails so far. We've got a 3 on the dice, 9 on the dice, a 1 on the dice from Echo 7. So that's 3 fails at the very least this hour. Tyler, take us home.
I'm a hero.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I rolled a 14.
He did it.
We did it fair.
We all failed so that Tyler could pass.
Tyler has a +3 on these. Why are we giving Tyler all these bonuses?
Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, the bonus wouldn't have saved you, Trust.
That's true. That's fair.
Wouldn't have saved anybody.
You and me, Echo, we're just like holding hands in the back of the party, just straggling.
Awesome. So fatigued, but able to keep with it this hour, and almost halfway there. You guys continue marching on, and
wait. So do we take
damage?
Do we take damage?
You 3 do. The big guy does not. So let me do that first, and
then we'll hustle.
3 for Trest, 1 for Xenia, and 4 for Echo 7. 4 for Echo 7.
Can we go ahead and take that 10-minute?
Yep. So long as you guys are able to move fast, and then take a quick breather.
So that's my last resolve.
I don't think I'm going to. Should I take one? I have 5 SP back. I only took 1.
Yeah, because that gets rid of fatigued.
Yeah, because if you take another point of damage.
Oh, okay.
So see, if we hustle now, then I will not get exhausted. We can, and you guys won't get fatigued. And then
you'll take another fortitude check at the end of a hustle hour. It doesn't
but it'll be at our max speeds.
But we want to hustle now, right?
So we want to hustle now because it'll be at our max speed.
Yeah, I think
and we'll take no penalty for the first one. It's the ones after that we're starting to take.
Yeah. So we'll be we'll probably all get fatigued after this, and I'll become exhausted after this. But at least we got the most out of it.
So it sounds to me like for these last 4 hours, you guys have, since leaving Jeldamark's side, have just been trudging for the most part, pretty quietly through the snowy hills around the Brenoa region, through through some areas of Suskillon that are pretty big and untamed, following a very narrow path alongside maybe a dried riverbed. And you guys, it's not hard to find these paths because it is light outside, sunlight diffused through the dark gray storm clouds above. And
somebody gets really nervous about what he's about to say.
Well, I mean, I'm setting the scene, as you can still see black billowing kind of smokestacks visible on your periphery, but eventually they just become a blip on the horizon and kind of blend in with the clouds. While you are starting up your hustle, Tyler Devasho is definitely feeling it, right? Between dredger battles and apparently this is Atrox's Achilles heel, is forced march.
Yeah, they're he was a before enrolling, he was a guard. So I mean, he's used to doing normal slow walk patrols and being
short
stationary.
bursts of action. But
yeah, this is way outside of his conditioning.
So as you guys start hustling, your eyes begin to feel very heavy, kind of like you're ready to fall asleep while trudging through the snow and the hills here. And you can feel just the cold beneath your carapace, the fluid in your arms kind of chugging along sluggishly through your limbs. And it's at this state, as the edges of the world begin to get a little fuzzy, like you're about to black out, that a voice calls out to you saying, Devasho. What do you do?
This is right as we're about to start hustling.
Oh yeah, no, you guys are all moving quickly now.
I think he would I think he would almost reflexively kind of slow up and look around.
Who said? Someone there?
And maybe he grabs his moat, activates his shield. It's kind of high alert.
Your moat does not come out. And
dope.
You see your squad mates around you just silently hustling along, and it's another 20 steps in the snow that through another few moments of silence that it comes again and says, Devasho. And looking over now, you see your moat just quietly shimmering black and purple flames beneath one of your pauldron plates of your chitin. It seems to be calling out to you, talking in your mind.
I think he would look very confused and looking to be like, moat? Maybe he reaches out to try and touch it. Not grab it, but just kind of touch it.
It is too cold. Burrow down. Leave the others. You must save ourselves.
Burrowing may give me an advantage, but the swarm are right behind us. I cannot, in good conscience, leave my new allies and friends.
You don't need them. I can protect you. You must trust ourselves. Devasho.
And where were you when a dredger took out half my chitin on my left side? I think I will trust in friends for now.
You snap out of it, and your moat is drawn out. It's in shield form right now. Echo 7, you see this happen. Perhaps Devasho talking to himself, muttering under his breath. What would your character do seeing this?
He would reflexively look up at Sprouts on his shoulder and say, get a load of this guy.
I love you, Drew. You're just a dork.
Miles, any reaction if it's brought to you Sprouts' attention?
Sprouts kind of looks on and silently, he has an internal monologue, so he just kind of silently kind of think to himself, that what he's seeing is strange and that he might have to keep an eye on this cat.
When the mode activates, all of a sudden, 20 feet, a 20-foot area just brightens in a purple hue. So it's definitely a noticeable thing.
Yeah. It's more like, we're trying to be sneaky about this.
Yeah, I feel like Xenia would notice this. I mean, she's all, stealthy and has owl eyes, so bright lights draw her attention, I think. But she would probably be like, Devasho, is everything okay?
Yeah, it was the light show.
Devasho kind of looks up at Xenia and looks worried, looks over at Sprouts and goes,
I didn't even realize I'd activate. Strange. I think I've been out in the cold too long. Sorry, let's get going.
And he lets go of the moat and it hides back, under his chitin, and he kind of starts hustling even harder.
While he's sort of shuffling that away, Trest, I think maybe there's some telepathic stuff going on with Trest here, and he can sort of, maybe it's not telepathy exactly. He can't hear what's happening. He doesn't know exactly, but I feel like Trest maybe has like a little bit of empathy, a little bit of an empathic link with these people that sort of are like, in his group now. Sorry, in their group now, and Trest would just send a just sort of a soothing emotion over to Devasho, just as though as to say, like, whatever's going on, we will get through this.
Would he understand that was coming from you, or would he just think his moat had totally switched sides? It's like talking into someone's head almost.
Right. Okay. You would probably recognize the voice, I think. And so
yeah, you see 3 like claw ups, 1 from his big arm and 2 from the vestigals. but he kind of like, he still has his head down and he's just kind of clomping. His feet, his footsteps as he's jogging are just very heavy.
As you're sending warm feelings Devasho's way, Trest, at the same time you begin to feel a little uneasy. You get that feeling of shivers up your vertebrae, like someone's watching you, perhaps a bit of a psychic tingle in your shell as well. And as you guys get into the next clearing, you maybe sense what was happening. You spot in the open what looks like a body lying in the snow, and I'll reveal that on the map. It's a humanoid. As you get closer, it does indeed look like a human.
Well, sucks to be them. Got places to go.
They are indeed. They look a corpse. What would you guys like to do here?
Anything? Sprouts is definitely going to kind of lean over to Echo and be like, it looks like we're in a wild card situation here. You might want to keep your scanners open.
Agreed.
Can Zinnia do a medicine check to see what may have happened to this body?
Please do. You're moving on over to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, make me that roll.
It's a 10. That's a natural 2.
You're not sure, but you do see, looks like some blood, perhaps some wounds on him.
I can also do a medicine check to see if we can figure out anything else.
Yeah, that, or if anyone has survival, go ahead and roll it as you're looking at it.
Yeah, I'll pull a survival on this guy. It's a 12.
Devasho's just going to move forward on the opposite side of the body and just like try to catch his breath.
What I would really like to know is this a soldier or is this a civilian of some sort?
It looks civilian. As you are taking a look at this, you guys have passed the survival. Trest, you can tell this was some kind of attack. You see like claw marks. But as you're investigating further, Sprouts, these aren't swarm marks. But you know this to be the telltale claw marks of the Suskillon brush stalker, a predator native to this region. And it's at that point, why doesn't everyone give me a perception check?
Wrong. Like the swarm aren't bad enough to have to worry about.
Oh crap!
Man,
it's normal light right now, right?
It is.
I'm gonna pull a Miles and I'm gonna quit this whole show.
I have that TM'd. That's TM'd. So get your own.
I rolled a 6.
We've got some good ones, got some bad ones. I think just one person, and that's Tress, gets the both psychic tingle and perhaps the tremor sense of something moving behind you in the bushes. And you may act in a surprise round as we are going into combat. Looking over that way, Tress sees a set of eyes poking out of a snowbank to the east, watching over you as you study this body. Trest, make me a initiative roll. I think everyone else has rolled into the turn order, and I'm going to as right now as well.
Oh, good. I rolled a 4 for initiative, fam. We're just killing it.
Yeah, okay. Natural 20 from me. That's no problem.
It says 17 on the screen.
Oh, I think you were seeing Jabert's initiative.
Bert's initiative was 5.
Yeah, that's a 5.
No, my initiative was 18. I had to roll a second one because I forgot to select myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cut that.
Now, Tyler, don't you worry. You did not roll a 4, actually. You
good. Did I roll lower?
Fatigued, so you rolled a 3. Yay!
Oh, good.
Only a 3. So surprise round. Everyone that rolled over a DC 17 here can make a move or a standard, including my brush stalker. That DC very low, even though it is in its natural habitat. Because while I was prepping this AP, I rolled a 1 on its stealth.
Is Sprouts still on my shoulders?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So I guess just be right here.
Okay, so first up is me, and the brush stalker is going to, as a mover standard, just move straight over to Echo 7, and that will be its turn. Trest, you get to make a mover standard here in the surprise round. What do you want to do?
I can't remember. Did we say last week that we were presuming that we were moving around with our weapons out, or?
Yeah, that's fine while marching.
Okay. Then, I mean, I guess I'm going to take a move action to step up to
step over the dead body.
Step on top of and stand on top of the face of the dead person.
All right. In the normal turn order, this thing now has a couple of targets. We've got the teeny Sprouts, Echo 7, and Trest within its reach. Let's see who it's going to go for. What do we want for the brush stalker? Actually, it's just going to attack whoever's. Well, everyone's kind of equally close. Let me show you first before this thing murders your party what exactly this looks like. Here we go.
It's like
no,
Wait,
everything.
What is happening with the nose and the mouth?
Yeah, it's like kind of cute, and then it's
adorable.
I mean, it looks like a bat, like a bat.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's like if a wolf was a bat, but also made of hate.
Yeah,
yeah. It's got these shimmering scales on its backside that looks like kind of white snow camouflage, maybe iridescent red for some of the hills here, and yeah, its coat just kind of like puts it into the hillside here, a little active.
It's kind of a chimera look to it.
Camouflage. Right, so let's see who it's going to attack. Just go down the initiative turn, and it's going to attack Sprouts. Why not?
I knew that was happening.
It's got a little hors d'oeuvre before the rest of the 5-course meal.
Right.
So let's make a single claw attack as it tries to claw you off of Echo's shoulder. Ooh, only a 6 on the dice. What is your KAC, Miles?
15.
All right. It has hits. 4.
It hit?
Oh, yeah. 6 on the dice. 7 points of slashing damage. Maybe it looked like it was about to go for Echo 7, but sees you moving about and gets spooked. So it's going to claw right at you. That is its entire turn, and we're in the normal turn order. Echo 7.
Prong, sorry, Sprouts. So since it's made its attack, does it have any attacks of opportunity available to it?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Most everything gets at least
it hasn't made
one.
A reaction.
Okay. So I'm going to take a guarded step back in the corner, and Sprouts will have to come with me because you're still on my shoulders.
Yep.
And because I've got my hail cannon out, I'm going to try to blast this thing.
Oh, yeah, please do. Oh, no. It wanted to be a 20, but it's
I hate the 3D dice so much.
That's a natural too. And we went ahead and we have a short version now.
Toot, kaboom! Makes me happy, but sad for you guys all the same. That's going to be a miss, of course. Zinnia, you are up next and about 10 feet away from this thing.
Yeah, Zinnia is going to sort of scoot around Sprouts and Echo so that she's behind them, and stealthily so. And I believe that my camouflage membrane is still attuned to this terrain. So,
oh, yeah. You're in a snow patch right now.
Exactly. So I get a +2 to my stealth trick attack.
All right, let's see it.
I'm going to take a shot. All right. Oh, no. That was bad. All right, so CR1 or lower.
That is not enough for the trick. Failed trick.
All right, but the attack is an 18.
Hey, that is a hit.
And it does 1 damage.
Minimum damage, but first damage on this creature.
Is it bloodied?
It's actually you're dead. No, this is it looks like one of the larger brush stalkers, like if you guys are native to the planet, that you've ever seen, but something looks off about it. If you figure that out, you can.
Man, I meant to do a life science check on this thing.
It's still your turn. If you want to roll it, go ahead.
Awesome. And it's a -5 to xenobiology checks, so 15 on that.
Good, because you needed a 17. This is an apex predator. You think in its like prime territory, these hills, but you can tell this one looks pretty gaunt and perhaps might have taken some damage, maybe some injuries, because it looks very frail. And I mean, I could tell you anything, one thing about this creature if you have a question, but I will tell you it doesn't really have any super special abilities.
Okay, let's see. Can I see where the injuries are or what the extent of the injuries?
Like I said, it looks maybe malnourished, like it is in need of a meal.
Okay.
Is there anything about its stat block you're interested in?
Any ideas?
Weaknesses?
I would like to know its ACs.
Yeah, ACs.
Can you find that out? Can I ask that?
Yeah,
Oh,
defense. Great. It is 13 EAC, 15 KAC. It is very fast, but this thing isn't wearing armor. Has a armored hide, so shouldn't be that hard to hit if that is indeed what you do. Jabert, Trest is up next. You are right next to this thing, having seen it rushing up to your squad mates.
Let's see here. I'm going to take two slashes at this thing.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Let us do it. Believe.
So this is -6 is what this is.
Oh, boy.
Because sickened blows.
Oh,
here we go.
No, you're not shaken anymore.
You're not sickened. You were never sickened. One. Yeah, and you're not shaken anymore.
I'm not shaken. Okay, that's right. Yeah. So just regular old -4. Here we go. Ooh. Oh, this is why you don't double attack, everybody. 15 on the attack versus KAC.
That's a hit.
Oh, well, this is why you attack, everybody. Double attack, everybody.
That's what we just found out. So how much damage?
6 points of damage on that attack.
Okay, here we go. All
right, and then
still got another potential super attack here.
Oh, less good that time. That was only a 4.
5 on the dice will be a miss.
Yeah. So, but 6 points of damage just as I chop into this thing's this drooling maw.
It looks like it is found another target. Miles, we're on to Sprouts. What do you want to do?
All right, so Sprouts is kind of looking down at the slash mark on his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little tattered, and he's a little dejected by that. He's like, I can form a blemish on my character, but not on my clothes. And he takes aim at the creature.
Miles is the best character you've ever had.
CR2 or lower?
That's a -2.
Yeah, I was about to say it's looks like 18 minus 20. So trick attack failed, but you have hit on the attack with an 18.
Yeah, so it's 4 points of damage.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. And Tyler finishing off turn 1 at the bottom. What's Devasha want to do?
I mean, I guess I'm going to activate the shield and then attack it where I am. It's probably going to get a bit of a bonus from Tress, but
you're attacking, over your squad mates' head, but you got 10-foot reach.
I got 10-foot reach.
Tyler, I have a question for you.
Go for it, buddy.
If you have 10-foot reach with your shield, does that mean that you could protect somebody in 5 feet in your party with a shield?
No, the shield is... No, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
There are feats for kind of lending someone AC that you can take later on.
Actually, for fun, though, we could do... So the Trox have a special ability called Bulwark. And when
I was going to say, I just got done making your character sheet, and I'm pretty sure you do have that ability. Yeah.
I mean, that's not something I can do because I have a shield. That's something I can do because I'm a Trox.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
So you know what? Trest
for our listeners who might not play a Trox, what is Bulwark?
Oh, so when a Trox fights defensively or takes the total defense action, I can grant half the bonus to AC by that action to an adjacent ally. Okay. So since I'm attacking from behind Trest right now. I'm essentially, try to shield bash over his head. I'm already going to take a minus to hit, so I might as well take. My thought is I might as well take more of a minus to hit, but at least give Tresh the bonus because that's probably who's going to get attacked.
So you want to fight defensively?
Yeah. So let's fight defensively.
All right, so that's a -4, and you both get a +1 AC bonus.
Yeah, so this is -4 to this roll. But who knows? Maybe there's a hidden 20 in here somewhere. Hidden 20, go! I rolled an 18 on the dice.
Hidden 18.
-4, so that's a 22 altogether. -4 brings it.
It's a -6, including fighting through Trest, but that's still a hit.
Yes,
Still a hit. 8 points of force damage to your dome.
Oh, it is bloody now. That's for sure. Oh my goodness. All right, so you got a little bit of a bonus here, both of you. You might need it because this thing is going to try to attack Trest now. The stalker is taking damage from both you and Devasho, but you're right next to it. And it looks, like I said, bloodthirsty. So it is going to jump up and try and slash at the Sheeran's armor. And a 14 on the dice is going to be a hit, even with the bonuses here. So it is clawing right through the armor, getting down to the chitin. And weird. It looks like my dice landed on an edge. A minimum damage, 1 on the dice, so 5 points of slashing. And
Tress, did you take hit point damage?
Not yet.
Okay. Let me know when you do.
Okay.
All right. Back.
Probably next round.
I'm guessing. Back to the rest of the top of the order here with Echo 7, Drew.
we're gonna blow this thing away.
Yeah.
Taking a shot.
Oh my!
Nice.
Natural 20.
That's a spicy meatball.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Boom shakalaka! That's what you call a cosmic crit! Kaboom!
I will never get over how funny it is that he says kaboom.
I hope this inspires art of Sprouts and Echo 7 both just shooting when Sprouts is on his shoulder.
I love it. It's a Rocket and Baby Groot.
It 100% is.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for this natural crit. A quick shout out from Ice King Nexion. To whoever rolled this natural 20, I hope that enemy gets pronked and good fortune finds its way to you. Well, I can tell you it is definitely pronked because that is at the very least 9 points of damage. It's dead.
Yes.
Well dead. Oof.
Nicely done, Echo 7.
Yeah, Sprouts kind of like enthusiastically kind of like, pats his, I guess, like his shoulder, like ding ding. Good on you, kid.
Hopefully. And we're out of combat.
That was a great time for that roll.
Already, yeah.
And now would be a great time to take a 10-minute rest.
Another break.
Technically, could you not rest as we're moving because you're on my shoulders?
That's a good question, Patrick. Can I do that?
I'll allow it. You take a little siesta.
Yeah.
Kick up your feet.
Because that thing got all my SP.
I have a question before we move on, though.
Yeah.
Does this thing have a den that it's been hiding in that we could potentially hide out in to rest a little more?
Drew, an army is coming at us.
I'm about to say an army that can dig underground. So
Point taken. Let's
I wouldn't suggest it. Well, as you guys are moving out, give me another perception check.
Oh boy.
Favorite.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Ooh, a 24, I might say.
Nice, Tress. So as you're standing over the body of this, looks like a evacuee that maybe fell into this thing's hunting grounds. You can see it seems to be like maybe there's a small like cloth strap kind of poking underneath the body under the snow here. And you're going to have to move this frozen corpse out of the way, but you think there might be something underneath it.
Yeah, I'll reach around and try to grab any ID I can off of this body and then sort of roll it over and see what's underneath.
Yeah, it's as solid as a rock, so it's more like flipping it over. A solid plank of lifeless flesh. And as you scooch it out of the way, you see what looks like a medical bag in the snow.
Ah.
Inside is it's like a little go bag with little medical plus sign on the outside. But inside, the first thing you find pulling stuff out of it is maybe not very doctor approved. It's a tactical semi-auto pistol with 9 small arm rounds in the clip.
Well, perfect for every doctor.
To keep the patients at bay, I guess. There's also a basic med kit, another basic med kit. I know we have all those already. There are a few doses of tier 1 stimulants. You can find the rules for that in the Starfinder Armory. There are 5 wake-up patches, which is something that the SDF just hands out to stave off sleep deprivation. The rules of that are in this very AP book. And there are a couple of R2Es, some meals in there, and 4 Mark 1 healing serums.
Hey.
That's useful. Yeah.
I figured you might want those.
Yeah, we'll take the healing serums for sure.
The rest of the stuff, we don't need it.
No, stimulants are great because it helps you ignore the effects of fatigue or exhaustion.
Zinnia will hold all of it.
That's for rounds, though. So, we should take all of it. But
that's for if we get in a fight.
Yeah, I mean, if we've got the carrying capacity, we should take all of it. But
we've got the carrying capacity. We can do this. Let's roll.
Okay. Devasho has more than enough. Even if he takes a bulk hit from being exhausted, he can still carry. He's got plenty.
Okay.
Midnight Company, roll out.
All right, let's.
As you're getting ready to hustle away from this. This altercation, this encounter. Zinnia looking back over it, the body of this once, apex predator here on the planet. I can't imagine, but can't help but imagine, I should say, that something in you is just wanting to stay here for hours and perhaps study this, as this is like your primary thesis, is how predator interactions and invasive species like the swarm could do something like this, make this mighty beast fall.
It's funny you say that. As soon as it died, I was about to say Zinnia runs over to take a sample, but then I thought that would be in poor taste. So,
yeah, I mean, at the very least, you can take a quick photograph with your comm unit, making sure that the dead body of the human here is cropped out.
Yes, it may be the case that this is one of the last of its kind. Now that the swarm are here.
Well, we saw tracks for one before, so it's not the very last.
This might be that one. This might. Maybe not the very. You know what I mean, though. It's like that one. It sort of makes you think, kind of.
That one is like only a few miles from Brinoa, so that one's definitely gone. If the swarm have overrun that region, So as you guys are taking stock and heading back out, your comm units once again kind of chirp to life, and you get an automated message that starts playing on repeat and popping in every once in a while. But this one kind of cuts in and out with perhaps another message. It sounds like someone trying to raise someone on the wire, and you hear like panting, heavy footsteps. There's some far off screams, and on the other end of the call, finally a voice loudly shouting through the static, through the calamitous noise. You hear them say, "To be continued."
Oh, man.
Next time. Oh, you thought this march was over? Not yet.
I want to be done with the march. I want to be done.
Yeah, I bet you do. There's still some, almost halfway there. Like I said, still got some ways to go till you get to the Deathamar River, get over to Fort Gallant. But we got a lot of episodes left in this season, so don't rush yourself. Not too bad, right? You guys, for the most part, are whole, correct?
Yeah, but Tress took a hit, which was like the second to last person we wanted to take a hit.
Yeah.
So how far in are we? How much is still to go?
Looks like you're about 14 miles away.
Oh my.
And we started how far away? 26, is that right?
20.
24.
20?
Yeah, so glad that our people who haven't taken any resolved points of damage yet didn't take a hit.
Well, now Miles did take a hit. Let's be fair.
I did.
Oh boy! The guy who's not making fort saves took a hit. Oh
yeah,
no!
I also took a resolve save before we started, so I only have 2.
You're down 2. Oh my goodness!
Oh no! The guy who's not making fort saves.
I mean, don't blame us for not making melee characters.
Let's all be real with the real villain here, Rebecca's character.
No,
flying above everybody.
I thought you were going to say me. I was like, no, turn on each other, not the GM.
I
author of the book.
I was helping. I was helping. Exactly. Yeah, I helped Devasha.
Helpful.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to help some more on the last leg, the second half of this section of the book, the long slog. But we're gonna get there. We'll get there next week. There's other fun surprises waiting for you besides the thrush stalker, this apex predator. But you're gonna have to wait until next week to find out about that, guys. Thanks so much for playing with me.
Thank you,
Thank
Patrick.
you.
Everyone out there, thanks for listening, and we'll get back to some more Attack of the Swarm action next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Goodbye. Kaboom!
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Cosmic Crit. This episode has been made possible through a sponsorship with Roll20 and the backing of our Critamander fans on Patreon. Thanks again and have a great week.